Alright, hey, hello everyone. This is Cody of Polypwn with Minty. This is going to be our
Hey,
this is our first podcast, which we are going to call the PwnCast. So this is, I guess, the pilot episode, and I guess we'll be mostly speaking.
pilot's almost never get ahead.
Yeah, we'll be mostly mostly talking about games, but we'll be probably discussing other bullshit as we go. It's whatever random shit comes to mind, I guess.
Whoever floats to the surface.
Yeah, yeah. We'll try to hit on current gaming news as much as possible, but we can't really make any promises there. I mean, if all the news is shit, we're not really going to talk about it. And I'm sure
No.
I'm sure we'll get caught up on a particular issue and bitch about it because that's
Or
what
company.
we do. Yeah, yeah. There's plenty of game companies that piss us off. Plenty of games that piss us off too. So
Oh yeah, a lot of games, but mostly the game companies.
all right, yeah. Again, this is our first episode. So if it sucks ass, well, I'm sure it'll get
Who
better
gives
from
a
here.
shit if doing it for free? You don't give
Yeah.
a shit if you're doing it for free, so it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
this is as free as entertainment gets. So yeah. All right.
If you don't like it, you can send an email to I don't give a shit at polyporn.com.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Another thing,
I'm sure we won't respond, but maybe we'll read it.
you might just if we're feeling in an arrogant sort of mood, but other than that, don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Although one thing I do need to apologise in advance for is going to be the lag. Because I know there's some lag as I'm talking to you. We start to sort of talk over each other and it gets a little bit muddled up. So I don't know what's causing that. Definitely didn't happen last time we were using it.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's a bit of delay, or if it sounds like we're trying to talk over each other, it's not just because we're assholes. It's because there's a delay, so we're not.
It's not just because we're assholes. We are, but it's not just because of that.
Yeah. We're not intentionally trying to be rude to each other. It's just limitations in the technology. All right.
So what's the first thing you wanted to rant about really? Because I've got the links that we sent me before, the EA one and
Oh
two of
yeah.
the Blizzard ones as well, which we
Yeah.
done yesterday. The first thing I want to laugh at though is have you got the two Blizzard links I gave to you before?
Oh yeah. I read those the other day.
Yeah. I'll send you the other one now that I'm going to go on at the moment, but it's the one where it says Blizzard offers South Korea Diablo 3 players a full refund following the Error 37 server woe. Now, it's not like they're the only people that ever actually were affected by that one, but it seems to be like a national sport there that the government's got involved. It'd
Yeah.
be funny if that sort of shit happened here, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think the Korean government was the only government that gave a shit. So
Yeah.
they're the only ones who
No
care
one else can
enough.
be asked.
Yeah. Nobody else cares. I'm sure in America they're just like, yeah, it's just a fucking game. Who cares?
Yeah, doesn't matter. And over here, they're too busy, sucking up to Europe and looking good on the world stage. Don't give a shit about what happens on the game. Over in Australia, they've only just stopped banning games, so they probably didn't see it either. But in
Yeah.
Korea, it's a national bloody pastime where people literally put their lives into it. And I wouldn't be surprised if some poor South Korean died waiting for that Error 37 to finish. That's probably why they've had to issue a formal apology.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first Blizzard game that's caused deaths of families in South Korea.
Yeah, when Blizzard promised that you will die in Diablo 3, I mean they weren't fucking lying.
I know, yeah. Any Korean that plays the game, they are hardcore straight away. As soon as they put it on, it's fucking hardcore from the get go.
Yeah, well, but when they play hardcore, there's another twist. I mean, they fucking die in real life.
You die in real life.
It isn't just hardcore in the game. I mean, the Koreans play for keeps. With every meaning of the term.
That's it. There's no messing around. If you die in the game, you die in real life. End off.
Yeah.
I don't get what that shit Error 37 bullshit was. Anyway, I mean, I know, people had trouble logging in. They're logging in server, but surely Blizzard knew that. Anytime they release, a game or I hadn't played StarCraft 2, so I don't know if it happened on that, but definitely in World of Warcraft, that it was so bad when they released a new patch. It would just a lot of the time when I played it, it would just crash because
Yeah.
everyone would go to the new area and it would just die. They must know that there's going to be a lot of people logging in, but they still don't give a shit. They just don't bother doing anything to stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people you'd get it, you buy it. Some people bought it on the website, download it so they can play it as soon as it's released, and you can't play for like 6 or 7 hours because the 37 hours still there.
Yeah. I got lucky with my copy. I mean, it took me maybe 30 to 40 minutes, but man, I know some people really got fucked over. I mean, it was like the better part of the day. They could not get logged in, and it sucks that there wasn't enough pre-planning. I mean, even though this game it launched, I mean the launch was huge, biggest PC launch ever. But I mean they should have had the numbers. I mean they just weren't planning ahead enough.
I don't know. I don't know if they actually wanted to cause this error on purpose. I mean, it's not as if they can't afford the extra servers. They probably got more money than any other games company after World of Warcraft. So
Yeah.
I don't get why they allowed it to happen. Put on a ton of extra servers at the start, leave it to die down for a month, and then you can take those servers offline if you need to. Just make sure everybody gets to log in when you paid the money for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think at the peak, at least here in the Americas servers, I think they actually completely shut them down as they were adding some extra servers. But it seemed like once they got those set up, I was able to log right in. Me and my friend and my wife were all able to log in, and hell, I don't think I logged out for nearly 12 hours after that. But I mean, but I know there's a lot of other people who weren't that lucky. I mean, they completely got screwed over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that happened with European servers, because my brother got it when it first came out, and, it probably took about 4 hours or so for him to get into it. And it was just absolutely ridiculous, getting the same error every single time.
Yeah.
And then you try and log in, and the error wouldn't show up. It looked like, yes, I'm going to log in, and then it trolls you, it comes up again, error 37. You think, fucking hell, I was going to get in then.
Yeah.
I say it's absolutely ridiculous. They should have done some, as you say, some forward planning to make sure none of this didn't happen, because there's no reason it had to happen.
Yeah, before they had shut the service down, I actually me, my wife, and my friend, we actually all got into the character creation screen. Then bam, we were all just instantly logged out. We're like, well, what the fuck? And then we weren't getting error 37 anymore. We were getting error whatever the fuck, which basically meant the service was down. And I think eventually it said that,
yeah, it was
like, sorry,
error
the server's down. It's like the service has been shut down.
Error
Sorry for the
3007 or
inconvenience.
something.
Yeah. So then we're all pissed. I went around raging for a little bit, and then came back on and was able to get on after that.
Sorry for the inconvenience. You give me a fucking refund after that. Which is what they've done to the Koreans. They give them refunds to them.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna have like a free version of the game now or what.
Yeah, the whole thing's interesting to me. That they would give them refunds this late after the release. I mean, I mean at least I haven't had any issues after that. So I mean, I imagine everyone in Korea has been playing and leveling up their characters. I guess if they just don't like the game, then give them their refund. But I mean, it doesn't really make much sense to me. Maybe giving them some type of discount or something, refunding them a little bit of the money. Because I imagine if they give them a refund, that they're going to be just closing their account and that'll be it. Unless they're just letting them keep the game for free. If that's the case, that's bullshit. I want a free game.
I reckon what they should have done, not just to them, but for anyone who was affected, they give them some money off where they can sell something at the auction house, get some real money for it, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's probably because their government got involved. They thought, shit, let's give them some money, let's do something about it.
Yeah. You do have a Blizzard balance. That's what they should have done, given everyone X amount of money. But I don't believe the Korean version has a real money auction house. I could be wrong, but I think it was taken out in Korea because of some type of gambling laws they have there.
I was going to say, I imagine that's how most of them would have made their living. But I don't know. If it's taken out, then probably just stop them gambling and wasting all the money in there. I say, I've not actually looked too much into that one, so I don't know if that part is true or not. As you say, you could spend all of your life savings at the auction house buying some weapon that only one person's ever found.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I mean, I've had mostly a positive experience with the game. The one thing that I haven't liked though that they did with this recent patch they released, they nerfed the item attack speed, which didn't really affect my character much. It just lowered my damage a little bit. But there were people who
Hmm.
spent hundreds of dollars on items in the auction house to beef up their attack speed, and that to
And it gets
me,
nerfed.
yeah, it gets nerfed. I mean that's a bit
Fucking hell.
sketchy if you ask me. And that's the one thing that's happened with
That's
the game that I thought, yeah, that wasn't right. They need to give these people a refund of some sort.
that's not on. It's like going out and buying $100,000 car, and then the manufacturer knocks at your door, takes it away, and gives you a $50,000 car. So here,
Yeah,
stick that. That's
yeah.
gonna be
Well,
completely unfair.
yeah. It's like we'll keep the full price you paid for the car, but here's your nerfed car.
Yeah, you can have a fucking mini or something. We'll keep the rest of your money.
Yeah, I mean it's a sketchy issue because they bought these items from other players, so they certainly can't take the money from the seller and give it back. But Blizzard needs to
Mm.
compensate them in some way. Give them a
Oh,
yeah,
Blizzard have already had their commission though, haven't they? So they don't care.
yeah. I mean they should at least either compensate them with a weapon with similar stats, but that compensates for the lower attack speed. Maybe give it some higher damage, or give them some Blizzard balance or something.
Or just give them a duplicate of that weapon, and then they can sell it and get a bit more money back.
Yeah, and ever since that happened, I've had no luck in the real money auction house, and it makes me wonder if people are straight up afraid to buy stuff on it now. They don't want to go pay real money for
Probably
something that's
true.
later going to be nerfed by a patch.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly
Probably true.
wouldn't.
I definitely wouldn't know. I wouldn't want to buy something knowing it's going to devalue like that as soon as they decide it. It's a
Uh
load
huh.
of bullshit. They should just. I mean, I know they've got to try and balance the game, and I think, well, based on my experience at Warcraft, I think Blizzard have always been shit at balancing games anyway. So I can imagine they're going to do a whole load of more patches to
Yeah.
try and balance all of this up, and they may. It could happen the opposite way. You could spend a little amount of money for a weapon, and then they could boost its power, and then you've got a better weapon for almost no money.
Yeah. And at the very least, they shouldn't have nerfed the items that people already had. Yeah, those people would be unfairly overpowered. But if they spent real money in the real money auction house, they shouldn't have had their items nerfed. I think it has. I think it's completely killed the auction house. At least for me, I've had much better items on there than I've had in the past, and I've had zero luck. I think people are just they don't know what's going to get nerfed next, so they don't want to spend their
Yeah,
real money. So they
that's
somehow
it. Well,
need to
you'll have to keep
alleviate
an
that
eye on that
problem.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to keep an eye on that one and see exactly how it turns up. So as I say, I definitely wouldn't want to buy anything like that if it's going to get pissed on straight away. So yeah,
Yeah.
so just see how it goes. But it does sound like a lot of people just don't want to bother with it now because anything like that could happen straight away.
Yeah. I
How
mean,
long ago was that patch then? When did you do that?
it came out on Tuesday, so I mean, it hasn't been a whole lot of days, but it's still's been
Huh.
concerning me. I mean, I
Yeah.
I buy stuff on the gold auction house. I don't buy the real money, but I sell stuff. But I mean, I was a
Hmm.
little bit pissed because before the patch came out, I mean, it was my own fault. I knew this nerf was going to be coming eventually. I just didn't pay enough attention. I didn't know it was coming as soon as it was, and I had
Yeah.
just bought some stuff on the auction house for gold for in-game
Hmm.
gold that buffed up my attack
Yeah.
speed, and then the patch comes out and yeah, they were kind of shit after that. And then you
I
can't
mean, I'll
really
say with
resell them for anything because they've been nerfed.
yeah, well, with the in-game gold, I mean that sort of stuff can happen in World of Warcraft anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, keep going back to that one because that's the one I've got any reference with. But you can buy stuff on the auction house there, and then that can be nerfed straight away, and it doesn't so much matter as much, or it doesn't piss you off as much when it's just in-game time. But
yeah,
if it's your own money, then you feel like you've been specifically robbed of it.
yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, because I was a bit annoyed, just having to spend in-game gold. So I can imagine how people who spent real money would feel. I mean,
Definitely, especially as you say, if it's a lot of money, because some of the stuff can go for hundreds of pounds. on
Yeah.
there, or probably even more.
Yeah, I know the cap in the U.S. is $250. I mean, I think it's
Yeah,
kind of insane spending that much on an in-game item, but there are people who spend that. If they spend that specifically
yeah, I
for
know
an
that
item
someone
with
will.
attack speed, they just wasted a lot of money.
Definitely not something I'd do. And then yesterday they released another patch as well. Gave you the link to that one as well. You've already seen that one where it stops players from accessing. Well, it says here accessing the entire game for up to 72 hours.
Yeah, that was
Which I've
actually
not had an experience on that one, but that sounds bullshit as well.
that was actually part of the same patch, and I've been keeping up on that one because it seemed real sketchy to me. It seems that they have a new authenticating process, basically to try to find the spammers and crap, which that makes enough
Yeah,
sense. But supposedly, as of right now, the whole process is a bit bugged, and that's why it's been keeping legitimate players out of having the full game for 3 days. I guess people can fix
yeah.
this if they call the support and tell them what's going on. They'll open up their account for them. I mean
Okay, done there for them, yeah.
yeah, this is something that needs to be fixed, immediately though. That's major bullshit. The content that it locks you in is it's the starter package content, whatever they call their starter package, which will only allow you to level up to level 13. It won't allow you to play multiplayer with other users who have the full game, and it also won't let you play past the game's first boss.
The first act.
So yeah,
Yeah.
well, not even the first act, just the first boss in the first act. So basically,
Oh yeah, it's
it's
got
the
yeah,
beta content. It's only
yeah. So
about
Act
an
One
hour
up
and a
the
half of
skeleton king,
gameplay. You're paying,
which is ridiculous.
yeah,
What they should have done? What they should have done? They should have released. They should have put this patch in the game to begin with when they had the error 37, so everyone would buy the game, and then no one can play it anyway for 72 hours, and no one notices that there's a big fucking server problem in the background. Then
yeah, yeah. And they need to get this
I say,
bug
I think
sorted
that's
out,
all.
and then they just need to get a better authenticating process. If they're having a lot of problems with people getting on their spamming, which I do see them in the general chat, which I disabled because I got sick of seeing it, and I do get these spammers constantly trying to send me friend requests, which I decline and mark them as spammers. But they all they need to do is fix the authenticating process, even if it's an annoying step like, okay, after you make the game purchase, call in this number and follow the audio prompts. Then boom, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think the whole thing is really the bullshit because, I mean, what if there's someone, I mean, like me, I wouldn't bother with the auction house or real money or any stuff like that. And I hate the fact that you gotta be online in order to play the game. I just want to play the single player and then get on with it. So what they should have done is have like, say, the normal game where you can play single player. You can go online, play online, but you don't have access
Yeah,
to the auction house for real money or anything like that. So you can play a single player, you can play it offline, you don't have to always be connected, or you can play online and join with other people. And then, if you want to go to the auction house or something like that, you'd have to say, it may sound a bit stupid, but maybe pay a bit more, which will download the patch, upgrade your game to their version, and then they can do all the authentication crap for people who actually want to go through all of that,
yeah,
not just for people who just want to play the game and get on with it.
yeah. Maybe they should
Because that's one of the
release.
reasons it can go for it.
Maybe they should release like a Diablo 3 arcade edition or something,
Yeah.
which is just the offline version, which I'm sure. I mean, the constantly online DRM. I know a part of that is is keeping the item economy legitimate, sorting out the dupers and whatnot. But it's like you said, if they keep this version offline, you have to go through a separate authenticating process if you do want to jump into the full version of the game where you get the auction house and all that. I'm sure they can sort out duplicated items and whatnot.
Yeah, that's it. There's no reason you should have done that. Because as you say, you pay for the extra version. It downloads a patch to your machine. It scans all the files, checks integrity, makes sure there's no duplicates, whatever, and then lets you into the full version where you can spend your real money and stuff. Not punish everyone.
Yeah,
Just for this auction house thing. That's one of the reasons. Well, it's one of the several reasons why I didn't bother going for the game. Because I just thought it's stupid. I hate the idea of having to always be online to play a game. I mean, even though my connection most of the time is rock solid, it rarely ever goes offline. I still don't like the fact I've got to be online. I mean, it's not just that. It's not just being online, but the Error 37 problem. Your connection's working fine, but their servers are shitting themselves, and then you can't play it. That's annoying as well. Not only that, I was thinking about buying it because I've got a few people who wanted to play it. Like, go ahead, buy it, and all this. So I went onto their website. I thought I might buy it, see what it's like. Fucking 45 quid. 45 quid to download it from their website, when most new games in England on the PC come out at 30 quid. That's an extra 50% just to download it from there. I thought, fuck off, you're not taking that much money off me.
Yeah,
Especially if you're going to screw me over like this, you can forget it.
yeah, that's bullshit. I mean, in America, the game's the same price retail as it is on their website. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't buy it off their website if, say, rather than being
No.
60 USD, it was like 80. That would be bullshit.
Yeah, you'd tell them to go fuck themselves, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've certainly enjoyed the hell out of the game, but I mean, the all constantly being online, that is an issue. We had a bad storm the other day, and it knocked out our internet for a while, which gave
Yeah.
me absolutely no access to the game. You know, that's
Exactly, which is
it is an
pathetic.
issue. I mean,
I mean, there's some people who just have poor internet connections, which may go down a lot, or some people may not even be able to get an internet connection. You know, they may want to play the game, but they can't.
yeah,
So I think it really is just bullshit. But it does seem to have pissed a lot of people off, though, because I mean, just looking at the comments on some of these pages, a lot of people are annoyed they got to be online. They were saying, "Well, I was thinking about buying it, but after that, I'm not going to bother. You can fuck off." So I think they have alienated a lot of people doing that.
yeah. I mean, it's had a huge launch, but imagine how much bigger the launch could have been.
Yeah, definitely would have had quite a few more sales as well,
Yeah,
even though it has been pretty big at the moment.
yeah. And one thing I was thinking about, and now, I mean, I'm sure this game will have a very long life, like most Blizzard games do. But there will come a day eventually when they'll be done running the servers for this game. They'll have Diablo 4 out or whatever. I hope when this time comes along, at least by then they remove the always needing to be online requirement, because
Yeah, hopefully by then.
I'd hate to think maybe 10 years down the road, and if they shut down their servers because they moved on to the next big game, the next Diablo or whatever, I'd hate to imagine there'd be a time where I wouldn't be able to play the game because they've shut their servers down. They're sort of pulling something that EA does with its online games. Like a few years after release, you can no longer play some of their games online because they close down their servers, and that's just not right.
No, there's just no need for that. I wouldn't bother buying any of those sort of games. But I do have to admit, with the Diablo 2, I mean, I haven't played that for a good few years, but I think, last time I played it, 2009 or something like that, and they had the servers up and running then, and it was still quite busy. So I think that the servers in general, because both of them use BattleNet, your Diablos are StarCraft and all that, they just use BattleNet, so I imagine they're always going to be up as long as there's a Blizzard game out that uses that service.
Yeah.
So say Diablo 4 comes out, and that's still on BattleNet, you'll still be able to play Diablo 3 and probably Diablo 2 as well.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Diablo, and if Diablo 1 didn't run like shit on Windows 7, I'd still probably be playing it today. But I get distorted graphics when I play in Windows 7. That's the only thing that's keeping me from playing it anymore.
What was that, sorry, on Diablo 2?
Diablo 2, they released a patch, 2010 or early 2011, that sort of fixed its Windows 7 issues. But Diablo 1,
Yeah.
it just looks like complete ass. I mean, the colors are all distorted. It sucks because I still think it's one of the better dungeon crawlers I've ever played. I actually like Diablo 1 a little bit better than Diablo 2. So it sucks
Yeah.
that there's that limitation, and can't play it anymore on my machine. Even when I set compatibility, I still can't run it correctly.
Try dual booting with Windows XP or something like that. I found it where I've had a few games especially really old ones, they don't work with like Windows 7 or Windows Vista. It's something to do with the way the Direct Draw works with older games. I'm not sure, because on Windows XP, if you go into the DirectX diagnostics, it gives you an option to switch it off. Because I was doing stuff like that when I was testing out Space Hulk to see if I can get that working, and it works if you switch it off in XP, but I could never get it to work in Windows 7.
I'll have to
There
give
might
that
be
a
something like that.
I'll have to give that a try, because I still think that the first Diablo was one of the better dungeon crawlers I've ever played. I mean, the whole mood in that game was just so dark and eerie, and it was a very hardcore game. I mean, they've streamlined Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 considerably. I mean, which overall, I mean, a lot of the improvements are for the better, but just for a good hardcore eerie dungeon crawling experience, the first Diablo was it's just hard to beat.
I don't remember too much about that one, to be honest. I did play some of it because I had it back on the original PlayStation. Sure, I had it on the PlayStation because I never had a PC back then. I had the PlayStation first. I was playing Diablo 1 on that, but I don't really remember much about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a very solid game.
God knows how long ago.
Actually, interesting you mentioned that. I remember back at E3 hearing some buzz and some rumors that there's a possibility that Diablo 3 might be ported to PS3 sometime in the future, which would be kind of interesting. I'd actually be completely for that if they allow PS3 gamers to buy from PC Gamers Auction House, because that'll just create more potential customers for me.
Yeah, if you can have the cross-platform. Yeah, you just want to get more money, don't you?
Yeah.
You just want to start ripping people off.
yeah, especially they'll be if they've just been PlayStation gamers their entire life. I mean, they may have potentially played the original, but other than that, they might not have had as much Diablo experience, and it might be easier to sell them items. They might see my shiny items and think they're better than what they actually are.
That's it. You'll just be a little load of noobs that haven't played, and you can just rip them all off then.
Yeah.
So if any PS3 gamers are listening who may possibly get Diablo 3 when it comes out, just beware of Code 64 trying to sell you crap.
Yeah, so hopefully by that time they do not allow, well, they don't currently, but hopefully they won't allow you to see who the seller is. I mean, I won't sell you crap, but I can't guarantee that my good stuff will be worth what I'm posting it as.
Yeah, can't guarantee you'll get value for money. It'll work, but it won't be brilliant.
Yeah, I guess it's all part of the market. I'll price the stuff and see what it can sell, how it can sell.
Yeah.
I still don't.
Work, just
yeah, I still don't think anything on the auction house is worth the price it's sold for. But I'm just not into buying digital items. Though I know some people are into that, and I've got nothing against that, especially if you're buying from me.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I generally don't buy stuff on online games either. I mean, as you say, a lot of MMOs and stuff, they're all going free to play now, so you can buy stuff which will give you, say, extra bank space or an extra character slot, stuff like that. I may buy stuff like that, but I won't go around buying in-game items. I'll just rather just collect the items myself as I go along. But stuff like the extra character slot and whatnot, more bank space, you can't just pick that up from a monster drop. So, if you want it, you might as well buy it. 'Cause if the game's good enough and I like it, and you're getting it for free for, I might as well. So I'll pay a bit of money towards it. Bit of support. I'll get these extra things, but I wouldn't buy in-game items with it. No.
Yeah, I think free to play is a fine model, except for when a game is pay to win. I can't stand that shit.
When it's what?
Yeah, sort of ruins all the fun for me. Speaking of free to play, I think I sent you that link earlier. The EA chief operating official.
Chief operating officer.
Yeah, chief operating officer Peter Moore said that he foresees all games going free to play eventually, which I thought was sort of an interesting.
As long as you go.
I thought it was sort of an interesting statement.
As long as you go through Origin to play them.
Yeah, I think it was sort of an interesting statement coming from EA, who seemed to find any possible way to tack on cost to their games. So I mean, I hate to see their free to play model.
I'd say it's all going to be going through Origin if it's there free to play, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I suppose it does for massive multiplayer games because you're paying month after month. So to go free, it makes sense. But with normal games, you pay a one-off fee and just play it for as long as you want. Then, so I don't particularly agree with this idea that all games are going to go free to play.
Yeah, I mean, if Doom 4 ever comes out, I mean, how the fuck would that work as a free-to-play game? Do you get the game for free, and if you want to see different skins on the demons, you gotta pay some money? I mean, they certainly couldn't
Well,
limit the amount of weapons you have in the game without paying, or no one will bother with it.
that's it. There's no cyber demons unless you give them 30 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play throughout the game, you get to the end boss, and he's not there. It just goes to the end credits. Where's the fucking boss? You didn't pay, did you?
Or you just realize that you just played Rage.
Yeah, that's it. And there was no end. So I thought, what? Did I actually pay for this crap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I don't know why he's. I mean, microtransactions, that does make sense in a single player game anyway. But I'll come back to this EA thing in a minute. But that just reminded me of when the Battlefield 3 came out. They were doing a deal, weren't they, where if you bought it from a certain shop or like a certain store or a certain online shop, you'd get like a free weapon or something, which you wouldn't get in the game normally. Like stuff were taken out of the game, so that you can only get it if you buy it from a certain place. So one shop will sell one thing, and one shop will sell another thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had anything like that with yours. Well, I remember you were doing something like that before it came out, and I thought, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and they do that with a lot of games. And every shop has its own special items. I think it's all a bunch of crock. It's bullshit.
So in a way, that's sort of almost like the microtransaction that's starting anyway. You get the thing depending where you buy it from. So they'll give you the free game, and then you're gonna have to buy different content, which I think is just all crap.
Yeah.
I mean, what should be, which is what we were talking about before, just bring back shareware. I mean, most people listening probably don't even know what shareware is, or they've never heard of it. But in the early 90s, a lot of PC games which was shareware anyway. Again, take Doom for example. It had 4 chapters, and the first one was completely free, and it was no different to the first chapter in the full game. It was exactly the same. Once you got to the end of the first chapter, that was it. Then you couldn't play anymore. You had to buy the full game. They should just do that. I mean, that is better than a demo anyway, I think. Because you get the full game, you sort of get to play the full game as it is, rather than play a demo and then something's changed in the full game. I say you should just bring back shareware rather than this, free to play microtransaction bullshit. I definitely wouldn't go for it. I wouldn't buy any games like that, and I wouldn't go to EA for it either.
Yeah.
There's going to be some sort of clause somewhere which says the microtransaction. It's not micro because it probably costs 60 quid or something.
Yeah.
Depending on what you buy.
Yeah, I doubt today's companies will go with shareware again, because the companies nowadays, they like to give you a lot of promises with games to make them sound fucking awesome. So you go out and buy it, and don't realize until you buy it that the game's utter shit. If they gave you part of the game for free, you'd realize it's utter shit before you paid for it.
I know all the cool stuff, it just gets cut out. Because they either haven't got the time, or the publishers say no, don't bother with that. Just release the game straight away, so you don't get to play anything.
Yeah.
But it was great in the days of shareware. I loved it. Just like downloading half the game, play, and then great this, and then go out and buy it. Worked really well.
I mean, and that kind of stuff is especially important for PC gamers. I mean, you need to know if the game is going to run correctly on your machine, and few games these days even have demos anymore. They just expect you to go out, buy the fucking thing, and see if it's going to run. And I'm sorry, the system requirements, they're a bunch of shit too, because a lot of these games anymore are shoddy console ports. So just because you meet the system requirements, that doesn't mean it's not going to run like shit.
I know, again, we go back to Rage for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, hands up anyone who's got the PC who bought Rage, and the fucking thing didn't work. It ran smooth, but that's because it had no fucking graphics on it. You turn around and it takes about half an hour for your graphics to load up. It's like it's an exaggerated version of what happens in the Unreal Engine. It was shit.
Yeah. That was such a disappointing game. Coming from id Software.
I know, pretty much like the inventors of the FPS, and it just turned around and does that. Apparently, they were saying as well that before the game came out, they were working with Nvidia and ATI to get the drivers working for the graphics card so that it could stream the textures properly. So it was like a sort of new texture technology. And then I think they ended up blaming the graphics card designers for not releasing the patches in time. But I mean, surely they should have been there like years ago and saying, look, this is what we're going to do. Give it a test now, see if it works. Release the patch straight away.
Yeah.
But no, it comes out, runs like shit. Release the patch, and it fixes a lot of it, but doesn't fix it all. I mean, even now, you can, as you turn around, you still see some textures trying to sneak in out of the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, they made all kinds of promises with that game. The worst was when they promised the HD texture pack, which never came. I mean, that was
No,
hogwash.
I think if you ask them about that now, they just deny it, because what does Carmack say? He says that the textures that are in there, they're the highest quality. They're the base quality. That's what you're gonna get. And I think, how the fuck could someone draw something like they got beer goggles on? It's so blurred. No one with any self-respect would draw something like that. And then you've seen the comparisons with Doom 3. The textures in Doom 3 are better.
Yeah,
They're better. They're sharper.
A fucking game from 2004 looks better than Rage, and I'll cut Rage some slack. I think the models were very high poly, and the environments looked good from a distance. But I mean, I shouldn't walk up to and look at a phone on a desk and think I'm looking at the original Quake.
Just a red
the
box.
Textures were that
bad. They were just awful. I mean, it was just like it was like Unreal Tournament, and then you turn the graphics down to low.
I mean, and
I don't know how they got away with it being that bad, especially as they say, yeah, that's the best they're gonna do. That's he's slapping his dick in the face of the artist there by saying that's the best.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an artist there, if I even got a job offer after releasing those kind of textures in a game, I mean, I would have walked out. I mean, if someone said that's the best they can do, I mean, it's the equivalent of giving a 5-year-old a canvas and a paintbrush, having them paint, and then saying, yeah, that's the best artwork our company can produce.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
That's it, and then just stick it on anywhere. Like the one of the things I remember most in the game was that Doom 3 mug.
Yeah.
It was so low quality. I mean, you could only make out there was the shape of the Doom 3 logo, but you couldn't actually read it.
Yeah.
It was like going around the entire game with cataracts on your eyes.
Yeah. I mean, and I actually, was enjoying the gameplay, and the gunplay was good enough. I didn't like the controls so much. It was, they obviously were aimed at a console. But other than that, yeah, you had to hit 15 fucking buttons to change your items and throw different items. That was kind of annoying. But
the one that really pissed me off was the fact you had like the quad box, which you could have your medikit in, your fucking boomerangs, can't even remember what they're called, and you had to map them to the F keys.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what the fucking, why can't I just press M for medikit or stuff like that? It wouldn't let me do that. You just had to put it in those boxes first, and if it ran out and you got more, you had to fucking move this around, move that around. And it wasn't just as simple or as intuitive as a PC game should be. There's 101 fucking keys on the keyboard. Use it. It's not a joypad.
Yeah,
it's not a joypad with limited buttons. Use it.
It was a very cumbersome system. I mean, and that's what I mean about hitting a lot of buttons. I mean, I have to hit a key to switch which item I want to use, and then a different key to actually use the item. Just let me press a key and throw my damn wing stick. I should have to hit 2 or 3 keys just to throw it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the game was fun enough. But then, God, the ending was horrible. I mean, I think I died a little bit on the inside. It's like, what?
Well, you get right to the end. I mean, I know what they were doing with the end. You're leaving open for a sequel, but
you don't leave it that open.
It didn't. The ending didn't really conclude that part of the game.
No.
It just said, yeah, something else is going to happen now. And now they want to make like a full franchise out of it, so there's probably going to be 3 games of that out before Doom 4 comes out.
Yeah. It was depressing. I don't want to talk about Rage anymore because it makes me sad.
every time you talk about Rage, a kitten dies. So let's stop it now.
I mean, a whole fucking litter of kitten. I mean, they just all die.
All the dogs in the dog zone, they just perish straight away.
I mean, there was a time where I damn near idolized John Carmack. Now when I see him, I see his picture, I just want to freaking punch him. It
You
pissed
want
me
to
off
punch
so
him, yeah?
bad, so much. I mean, I used to enjoy reading his tweets, but now when I read them, they just make me angry.
I haven't read them in quite a while, but you can't punch him with glasses, can you? So you're gonna have to take them off his head first. Be gentle, just pluck the glasses off, put them
Yeah.
down on the table, and then chin them. Let's say,
Uh,
fucking take that, will you?
yeah, it was very disheartening. I mean, back when I was in college, I mean, my first thesis was a biography on John Carmack. Now I wish I wouldn't have written it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
thought
deleted
id.
it from your hard drive.
Yeah, I mean, I thought id was going to be one company that was never going to sell out, but they sold out. It's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think they were great as well because they made some really great games, but then just like all of the others, they've fallen over to the consoles, and that's where a lot of them seem to be going, and they just fuck the PC up for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
As I
reason
say, it was
there's no reason why they couldn't have developed Rage for PC and then ported it to console. Why did it have to be the other way around? Why wouldn't you want to make your
yeah.
game as good as it can possibly be and then port it
That's
down
why it's got a
to
lot of the
the more
limitations.
inferior hardware? I mean, it would have been the same game. It probably would have looked and played exactly the same as it does right now on console, but on PC it would have been a much better product.
So should have just done what they did back in 2004 for Doom. They made Doom 3 for the PC. The keys, the controls, it was great. It worked perfectly. And then afterwards, they ported it to the Xbox, and it looked shite.
Yeah,
Well, that's what they
that's
should
the way
do.
you gotta go. I mean, it's just better that way. I mean, it'd be like if Diablo 3 really does come out to PS3, I mean, at least it came out on PC first. I mean,
Yeah.
couldn't imagine if they would have built this game from the ground up to run perfectly on consoles from the get go. I mean, Error 37 would have seemed great compared to the shenanigans we would have had to put up with.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's like I don't mind it if the game's made alongside with the console ones, but make it specifically for the PC. Don't port it with all of the shortfalls that the console has.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mind this to some extent because I want to play the PC version as quickly as possible of games. But I don't even mind if they choose to hold the PC version back a little bit, but if it's to upgrade it, sort of like they did with the original Mass Effect when they released it eventually on PC, they completely changed the interface and everything to be PC friendly. Now, what I can't
Yeah.
stand is when they hold a game back just to fucking hold it back, and then when it comes out, it's still a shitty port, which they do
Well,
sometimes.
that's what happened with Duke Nukem Forever, because the PC version was pretty much ready by the time Gearbox got hold of it, and then we had to wait almost 2 years for them to finish the console versions and do the multiplayer as well, and then release them all at the same time. And you can only have two weapons, and the controls and all that, the field of view and all that shit. It's all designed for console.
Yeah.
I mean, I quite like the game itself. I quite like the game itself, but it did have a lot of console shortcomings that pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like cover systems. I mean, I think they're fun in a lot of games, but at the same time they were, in my opinion, I think they were created for console games because it was a way of slowing down the experience in the gunplay and allowing you
Yeah.
to sit still and be able to use your controls more precisely. And it's like every single game now, even if a cover system doesn't belong, it's just there. It's like why?
They ram it in anyway.
Yeah. In some games it's fine. Like I do like the first person cover system in Red Orchestra 2. I mean, I think it was really well designed. But man, when I
That
played,
works pretty good as well, but because with Red Orchestra 2, it's more realistic,
yeah,
if you will, and if you're in the middle of a war, you'd expect you to be poking your head around, hiding all over the place, this, that, and the other. Some games it suits, but others it doesn't.
yeah, and I like that it was in first person. I hate when you have a first-person game, and when you use cover, it switches you to third person and just completely fucks everything up. I mean, they did that
The
with
prob-
what was it? Brothers in Arms, Hell's Hideaway, I believe. And when you use the cover system in that, it switched to third person, which was ass. And what was even worse, if you played on the hardest difficulty, the game wouldn't render your crosshair anymore, which is fine in first
Fucking
person
hell.
because you can use your iron sights. But when you jump to third person, you're
Yeah.
trying to aim without a
That's
crosshair.
completely.
I mean that's just bullshit, and that's also very poorly designed. I mean, I don't know how that got past testing. I mean, like,
Maybe never
nobody
bothered.
played on the hard. Yeah, did anybody ever play on the hardest difficulty setting and say, "Whoa, wait a minute, this is damn near impossible to aim"?
Or it's probably like, I don't give a shit what happens. I want that feature in, whether it works or not. Put that feature in. I
Yeah.
don't care if people can't play. I just want to see it work. But I hate the fact that, because you mentioned before, the games were slowed down for the consoles. And that's one thing that really pissed me off about Unreal Tournament 3. Now, I imagine you played the original one, Unreal Tournament, back
Mhm.
in like 1999. And you play that compared to Unreal Tournament 3, it's lightning fast. Unreal
Yeah.
Tournament 3, it just goes slow, and they give you some hoverboard to make it a bit quicker, and I just couldn't be arsed of it, and I don't think anyone else could either. So I don't think that sold very well, and I think that's when Epic, shortly after that, they turned their back on PC gamers,
Yeah, yeah. As
which
if
is fine with me, to be honest.
yeah, as if it was PC gamers' fault why their game sold like shit. Maybe they should just release a better game and then it'll sell well.
Well, that's it, but I think, we snubbed them, and they thought, fuck you then, and then they went running into the open arms of Microsoft.
Yeah,
Now they
I,
make
I
all the games for them.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if id Software did the same thing. You guys didn't like the half-assed product we released for you. Well, then fine, we're not going to release any product for you.
But as I say, I don't really care. If the product's going to be half-arsed and slow like that, they can keep the product. I don't
Yeah,
want them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, speaking of Microsoft, I mean, Epic needs to be careful. Microsoft has a track record with destroying good developers. I think the other day we
Mm.
were talking about Rare.
Yeah, because they made a lot of good games on the SNES as well, and
Yeah,
they've been going around a lot longer than that.
yeah.
Because I was mentioning to you as well about what they were doing in the 80s. Because I don't know. I mean, did you have the ZX Spectrum over there?
If we did, it would have been probably before my time. I was born in '86, so I mean I
It
probably would have
sort of,
missed
it
out
sort
on it.
No, it sort of died out in the late 80s. It came out in about 82, I think. Because we had the spec in, we had loads of games for it, and the company Rare, they used to be a company called Ultimate Play the Game in the days of specking. They made loads of brilliant specky games, tons of them. And then shortly after the specky died, that was when they changed the name. They then became Rareware, and then they're making games on the SNES. They made Kill Instinct.
Hmm.
Some people like it, some people don't. But I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, I enjoyed
But I
it.
love to play the fighting game on that. And then, as you say, they went to Microsoft, and now they're making Kinect games and other such stuff.
Yeah, I
So
mean
they've probably changed quite a lot since.
yeah, they produced GoldenEye and Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64, which sort of
64,
revolutionized.
yeah.
Yeah, which revolutionized first-person shooters on consoles. And then they go to Microsoft, and they sort of slag Nintendo off a little bit when they switch companies. They made fun of Nintendo's lack of online games and whatnot. And then since then, I think they released the last multiplayer game that I know of they released or online multiplayer was Perfect Dark Zero, which was complete shit. I mean, that's it. Now they're
Yeah.
making Kinect games. I mean, what the fuck? How does
That's
such
it.
a revolutionary company fall like that? I mean, I think the same thing sort of
Well,
happened to Silicon Knights. I mean, they didn't produce a lot of games, but the games they did make were very good. They made
hmm,
Eternal Darkness for GameCube, which is one of my top 10
hmm,
favorite games, and they
yeah.
developed the GameCube version which was of the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid, which is a pretty decent game. And then they went up they go to Xbox, they go to more Microsoft. Microsoft buys them. They make they make 2 Human, which is kind of a letdown, and then that's it. I don't even know what the hell they're doing anymore. It's like they just faded
I
away.
think they went out. I think they went out of business not so long ago, actually.
Ugh, it sucks.
Yeah, because I mean, two human. It took God knows how long. It took quite a while to come out.
Yeah.
You know, actually no, I don't think they have gone debunked now. I think they are still actually going. They made X-Men in 2011, and I think that was the last thing they made.
They made an X-Men game. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I don't know too much about them. I'm just checking them out on the wiki.
Was it
But yeah, it said X-Men Destiny
was it an
for the
Xbox
Xbox,
exclusive?
PlayStation, and Wii.
Oh wow!
No,
So
it was Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii.
it was multi-platform. They must not be owned by Microsoft. Well, I assumed Microsoft had bought them, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they were an independent company and they just chose to develop for Microsoft. I'm not sure. But I mean, I know
Possibly. I mean,
when they released
it would normally come up.
Yeah.
Interrupting each other again. Go ahead.
Yeah, the delay there. But when they released Eternal Darkness for GameCube, that was basically a first party gaming that was published by Nintendo. So I mean, I don't know.
Which game was that? Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's sort of a cult classic. I mean, it got very good reviews. It may have been one of the highest rated games on GameCube. But I know plenty of people I tried to get to play it, and unfortunately, the people I introduced the game to, I introduced it to them after Resident Evil 4 came out, and Resident Evil 4 was so revolutionary, it was just very hard for them to get into Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness just seemed obsolete by that time.
They just couldn't be arsed with it after that.
Yeah, which you know it's understandable. Eternal Darkness is a great game, a great story. It's unique. There's no other game I've played like it. But it's very hard to compare it to Resident Evil 4, which is, I mean, that's another one of my favorite games, and it's very hard to compare the two of them. They're both survival horrors, but you know they do their scare tactics a little bit different. I mean, it's understandable. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is such a smooth game. It's so silky smooth, and the controls and everything is so great. It's just hard to go from that to an Eternal Darkness style game, which probably played a little bit more like the original Resident Evil games.
That one, yeah. I think that's the only one I've ever really played. I played the original one. I played some of the second one, but the original one was just so funny with the bad dialogue and all that. But
Yeah.
It's still a great game to play. And the intro as well.
I don't know that the dialogue has gotten much better. I mean, the voice acting is pretty solid in the later ones, but the actual dialogue the actors are having to read can be corny sometimes. But Resident Evil 4 was a good game though.
Well, the voice acting itself, well, I mean, I don't remember too much of the dialogue, but I remember the voice acting was pretty shit because they put the emphasis on the wrong words and it just sounded dead funny. Like you didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's funny. I played Resident Evil 2, the original version, but the only version of Resident Evil 1 I played was the remake on GameCube. So I got to see the remade voice acting. I didn't see the live action cutscenes.
I said they had new voices in it then. It would be good if you did play the original one. Did they have the same intro where they were getting chased up to the house when it was all in black and white?
Yeah, I don't believe it was in black and white though. But yeah, they did have an intro. You're getting chased, like a guy gets killed by a pack of zombie dogs and get chased.
Yeah,
it's
like that. They sort of find like a severed hand in the grass or something, and they all go charge into the house.
Yeah, you have to YouTube it. It's actually pretty neat the way they did it on GameCube. The graphics were pretty good for its time too.
Yeah, well, I'll have a look at that in a bit. I'll get a picture up and see what's what like.
All right. Well, I think this PwnCast has gone on long enough. We covered some
sort of trailed off on the original.
Yeah, we covered some interesting topics. Covered pretty much what we set out to, and of course, wandered into some other topics, which will tend to happen. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully we we just keep getting better at this. Like I said, this is our first episode. We're sort of learning as we go, improving as we go.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna get better. No doubt about that.
All right. So until next time.